How you guys doing this morning?
Good morning.
It's early. My name is Keith Williams. I've been in Minnesota now for 1995. I went to St. Cloud State, played football there. I ran track there. I left school early in 1996. Can you guys hear me? Hello? Hello?
This is for the camera.
I went to St. Cloud State in 1995. Played football, ran track there. I ended up leaving school a year early because I was the #1 indoor track and field 60-meter runner in the world. So at that time, the USOC, the United States Olympic Committee, decided to move me to California, to Chula Vista, to get ready for the Olympics in 1996 in Atlanta, Georgia. And I'll be back to that in a little bit. Originally, I'm from South Central Los Angeles, California, Compton, California, which is probably one of the worst places you can possibly ever live. I started my athletic endeavors when I was 9. I started running track for a team called LA Jets in Crenshaw, California. And didn't really know what my talent was and know how good I was as far as athletics was concerned. It was just a way for me to get out on the streets there. If anybody know Los Angeles, game like there is terrible. So I didn't really, actually, the funny thing is I didn't really even get into athletics, real athletics, until my freshman year in high school. Didn't get to play popcorn football, didn't get to do Little League baseball and that stuff because my mom was a 17-year-old crack addict. So basically from the time I was a freshman in high school till now, I've been pretty much raising myself. In high school, I lived in 4 different families. Basically was just living with friends just to get by. But I always tell people my story, I don't ever like for people to give me a pity party or feel sorry about me for my story. I feel all the things I've done in my life are things that made me stronger and a better person and persevere over all the things I've been through. I went to Escondido High School in San Diego, California, where again I lived with 4 different families. I was you can go back farther than my freshman year in high school because I was still trying to find myself. I was a leader of a gang, a Mexican gang, which is really weird. 40-year, black guy Mexican gang. What the heck is that all about? But I was just trying to find myself, and I realized, I didn't know what kind of talent I really had until one year I went out for track, and I went to go out for the track team and ran and started winning and winning some races. And I had 2 people, there's some people in my life that inspired me to be the person I am, to be making me stand here today. And 2 of those people are a couple called named Rick and Pam Hansen. Rick was my offensive coordinator in my high school, and Pam Hansen was my track coach, and she was an elementary teacher who was Rick's wife that was down the street. And he was my offensive coordinator, and she was my track coach. And I went off to the track team my first year, and I still, running the streets and doing my thing, and but I was a good athlete, so I was one of those guys who just naturally gifted. Go out, run, play football, and just be good at it. And I remember I didn't come to practice one time, and I came out to the track meet with my stuff, and a little swagger on and everything. And she goes, "You're not running today." And I'm like, "What? What do you mean I'm not running today? I'm the stars of your team." And she goes, "You're not running today until you learn discipline to show up for practice and all that stuff." So they sat me down, when they told me, they said, "Well, until you start doing the things you need to do with the talent that you have, you're not running on this team." And I was like, okay. I played football my freshman year. The funny thing is I couldn't catch a cold. I was fast, they had me a ball, run, I couldn't catch a cold. But, I went out there, I worked hard, they got some people to work with me again. I had never ever really played organized sports until I got to high school, so I didn't really know what it was all about. I tell kids these days, I said, understand this, your parents who are investing time in you in Little League football, Little League baseball, youth basketball, all those things, take advantage of it, because some kids never have that privilege. They have to wait longer, some kids don't ever get that privilege. So I always tell people, it's a privilege. Right now, I train youth athletes for a living, and people are, and these people are going to hockey meets or hockey games and football games and baseball games and invest a lot. And sometimes I get a little jealous. I'm like, man, if I just would have started at that level, how good would I really, really have been? But that's the way life is. So getting back to my high school career, I went to Minnetonka High School and I played football there. I was a 2-time All-American in San Diego. I was a 3-time state champion in track and field, based off of after dealing with Rick and Pam and Tom Everest and Bruce Ward, my athletic director, and Bob Clay, my vice principal. These guys all had faith in me that I could actually do something with my life. They told me I had to get out of my game and I had to focus on my studies and I had to become more disciplined in my endeavors. So I was like, okay, I have to leave my buddies. But I figured that wasn't getting me anywhere anyway. Most of the guys, that I had ran in the game with, 2 of them are in jail for life for killing somebody. 2 of my buddies are dead from getting in a car accident. And I started seeing all these things go on around me, and I'm like, okay, this is not for me. Now I have a choice to make. And I always tell people, I'm not a person of excuses. I've never been a person of excuses whatsoever. You can go east or you can go west. You can make the right decision, you can make the wrong decision. I just decided to make the right decision. God bless them. And so, through my high school career, like I said, I was 2-time All-American, 3-time state champ. My senior year in high school, I was the #1 hurdler in the nation for high school track and field, the 300 and 110 hurdles. Me and a guy, Brian Bronson from Texas, we would just battle back and forth all year long. And then my senior year in high school, I was getting ready to go to Tallahassee, Florida for the Junior Olympics. I was the first youngest sponsored athlete by Nike. And that was a big deal to me because, graduated from high school, I'm being courted by every college in the country. My life's on a good path now. A lot of people didn't know my story. Actually, one day this paper wrote this story about how this black kid who lived with all these different families and nobody ever knew because I just, ran my life as I was a normal kid, but nobody knew any of this stuff. Wrote this article about how, my whole life journey to where I got to. Well, it was an onslaught of letters and support for the community in which I came from, and it was great. So, summer comes, my senior year in high school, me and my buddy decide to, go to a going away party that they have for me in San Diego, and we're driving down the road, and all of a sudden, a car comes across the median, hits me head on, me and my buddy, shatters my vertebrae, broke my jaw, and I'm down for 4.5 months. I go to the hospital, was life flight from the hospital that night. I was life flight from the scene. I don't even remember most of it, but I was life flighting from the scene to the hospital. And I woke up, had a halo on my head, my mouth wired shut, and a doctor from India told me that I'm never, ever going to play sports my whole entire life again. Never any kind of impact sports ever. Now, put yourself in my shoes right now. My athletic endeavors is my ticket out. I wasn't the smartest kid in high school. I wasn't. I'm not going to sit here and mind you guys say I was a scholar because I wasn't. I barely got out of high school. And now this is my opportunity to make something in my life, and it's all been taken away from me. It's gone. The doctor comes in and tells me, you're never going to play any kind of physical activities ever again. And I'm like, I can't even talk to him because my mouth's wired shut. So that makes it even worse. And I'm like, sitting here thinking to myself, what do I do now? So I stayed in the hospital for about 2 weeks. Finally I was released to my foster parents. Was walking around with a walker and a halo and depressed and rocky. You gotta realize, now in my senior year in high school, you guys are big kids these days. So my senior year in high school, and this sounds funny, I said, I look like a little skinny Somalian kid. Seriously. That's how little I was. Maybe I think my senior in high school I was 150 pounds soaking wet. I was fast as molasses, but I was a little tiny kid. So now, mouth wired shut, halo on my head, I can't eat any food, I gotta think everything's liquefied, I'm losing weight, now I'm getting depressed. So I'm sitting there at my foster parents' house, I'm like, well, what do you do now? Do you let this beat you? Or all the things that you've been through in life, with your mom being a crack addict, leaving you your senior year in high school, all the things you overcome, do you let this beat you or do you conquer it? So I decided to conquer it. I decided that I'm not going to let anybody tell me or dictate my life, period. And that's what I did. So started a rehab program, ended up having to start over. Now you realize every college, UCLA, Florida State, Arizona State, USC, all these colleges are now gone because it's a risk factor for them to sign me to a scholarship because if something happens, my career's done, and based off the doctor's report, I'm not supposed to play any sports ever again. So that happens to me, and I go through all this rehab, do all this stuff. I end up going to a small little community college called Taft Community College, with two-time national champs in football. Now Taft is infamous for track and field and for football. This is a school where the most talented players in the country go to who don't have good grades. And most players come from Florida, Louisiana, North Carolina, and then California. Now, California has 125 community college. And they have some of the best football ever as far as community college. So all these guys are trying to figure out their lives and get there. So he dropped me in this town. And now you understand, Taft is a town of 1,500 people, one stoplight, one McDonald's, a bowling alley, and all white people in a town, and a football team of all black athletes, and a track team of all black athletes. So I'm like, what the heck? You know, I wake up, I go there in the dark, I wake up in the light, and all I see is oil rigs around me. Where the heck did they take me? But it was a place for me to study on, they were willing to take a chance on me, a place for me to get my studies right, because again, I wasn't the best student, but take a chance on me. I'm like, what am I going to do? Am I going to leave this place and go back to San Diego, where all my friends are doing nothing, and be stuck in the water, or move my feet and make something of myself? A year later, I graduated from Taft Community College, or actually I transferred from Taft Community College, went to Lane Community College in Eugene, Oregon, ran track for Nike International, played basketball there as well, because I was a basketball player. Eugene or Oregon didn't have football, so I had to sit out a year. I was offered a scholarship by St. Cloud State. It was my one opportunity, while several, but St. Cloud was probably the most warring at the time, opportunity to come play college football and run track. So I jumped at it. Went to St. Cloud State in 1995, became all-conference, all-American in track and field, all-conference in football. Again, now I leave St. Cloud State in 1995 or 96 to get ready for the Olympics. Now I'm the #1 track athlete in the country. So from that point on, I go to USLC in San Diego, start training, get ready for the Olympics. Right before the Olympic trials, I'm at practice. My agent at the time was Jimmy Gould. He represented Corey Stringer, who we all know passed away. They want to know how fast I ran 40. So at the end of my practice, I'm standing there like, how fast this guy ran 40? Now, I never ran 40, didn't know what the big deal was, because the football field's 100 yards. So I was in there saying, who cares? Last practice, run, tweak my hamstring. I'm like, dang it. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, oh, you just hurt your hamstring, we'll get it back together and everything else. Obstacle. I'm a month away from the Olympics. This is my opportunity. I'm the #1 track athlete in the country at the time, in 100 meters. And I'm hurting it. What do I do? So I rehab, do my work, keep continuing to run, keep continuing to train, end up going to the Olympics. Got to the third round of the Olympics, hurt my hamstring again, but I was also on our 4x100 relay team. Ran 3 rounds of the relay team, and the doctor looked at me and goes, if you run anymore, you're going to blow out your hamstring, your football track career is over. So, being I was already ran 3 rounds, I still was able to get my, people still playing me for us losing to Canada and get a silver medal, but we ended up getting a silver medal losing to Canada. After that, I started trying to figure out, so my next endeavor was, I knew that track and field would catapult me into the NFL if I had a really good, if I had a medal at the Olympics and all these other things. NFL teams would start looking at me because everybody knew I played football. Went out to the Denver Broncos in 1996 for a workout. My agent called me to the Denver Broncos and see if they want to work you out. So I'm like, all right. Talked to Jack Galway. Went out to Denver. They said, workout was 40, bench press, vertical, all that stuff. And went out to Denver, ran a 4.2 flat 40, first time. Second time, ran a 4.16. It was my second time. Vertical, 36.5, bench press, 225, 21 times, and they signed me right on the spot. I left to my hotel. Before I even got to my hotel, my agent goes, you want to be a Bronco? I said, yeah, sounds like a good idea. What other plans do I have right now? So signed with the River Broncos. Played with the Denver Broncos for 2.5 years. Went with them as on the practice squad to the Super Bowl. And you guys were almost supposed to get there, I think, in 1998. Then played the NFL Europe for 3.5 years. My second year in Denver, my second half year in Denver, I was saved to the Green Bay Packers. You guys' other big rival. They moved me to defensive back end. At that time, I played there for a little bit. As a kickoff punt return, defensive back, because they moved me from, I was playing running back in Denver, but at the time, Terrell Davis was running back, so I wasn't getting much playing time. So moving to a new position probably was a pretty good idea. So moved to defensive back, and I played for the Packers as a kickoff punt return there. Defensive back, played dime and nickel package, had a pretty good time there. Then later in my career, I decided, football just wasn't for me anymore. I had a bad concussion actually, put me out for about 5.5 minutes. It just never was the same. So from that point in time in my life, I said, what do I do now? I'm not playing football, too big to run track anymore. What do I do? So I just got into the world of bodybuilding, and that's where I'm at today in my journey. Started competing in 2006. Do a little local bodybuilding show, didn't even know what I was doing, and had a little fun with it. Took off a couple years from it, started doing it again, and now I'm the #1 amateur bodybuilder in the country. Unfortunately, I've been the 6-time runner-up in the last 6 pro qualifiers that we have in the country. You can only turn pro in 3 shows a year. That's USA Championships, North American Championships, or Nationals. And I went to all 6 shows and I've been runner-up. But my idea is, the best quote, I actually just read it from my trainer who sent me, my former trainer, says, a man's character is not by what he's made of right now, so a man's character is made up by how many times he's been knocked down but can pull himself back up. And I've been knocked down a lot of endeavors, coming from, the streets of Los Angeles, being hit by a drunk driver, overcoming all these adversities. My message to kids always say this: never make excuses for yourself. Never make excuses. I train right now to this day as I compete in bodybuilding, I train athletes. I've trained some of the top YZ athletes, you guys are crosstown rivals. I train a ton of hockey kids in Maple Grove, soccer girls, and my message always to them is this: always give 100%, 10% effort in everything you do. And always be passionate what you do. The Philadelphia Flyers coach, I love watching and listening to other people to educate myself, to inspire other athletes to do great things. Be passionate in what you do. Because if you don't have a passion for what you do, it doesn't matter what you do. You're done. If you don't have a passion for football or school or whatever sports you play, it doesn't matter. I've had a passion for everything I've done. I've learned everything I've done. And now my passion is training athletes. I was telling my athletes yesterday, I train the Maple Grove Osceola youth hockey team now, Pee-wees and Bantams and Bantam D1s and Minnetonka's when I crossed my rivals. And I said, I feel everything you guys feel because I was an athlete. I walked in you guys' shoes, but be passionate about what you do. Care about what you do. Care about your brothers on your team. Care about your family. Care about your community. I've done a lot of things in my life that, I brought kids into my house who, was in my situation to pay it forward. And that's worth great for me. And seeing that, I have one kid that lived with me named Isaiah Harris. He's a wrestler. Crazy thing about Isaiah is 1 year he's top 5 state wrestler every year in school. Goes into the locker room, steals $10, gets kicked off the wrestling team. The only way he gets back in the wrestling team, they said, I'll move him into my house, take responsibility for him, and all of a sudden I got this kid living in my house. I'm like, whoa, okay. Isaiah now, make a long story short, Isaiah now, when I moved him to my house, he was a sophomore in high school, he was a senior in high school with a sophomore education. He basically was the same story as mine. Mom was a drug addict, didn't really have much going on for him. The moral of the story is if you care about somebody or you see somebody, and I'll tell parents this too and everybody, if you see somebody or you see one of your teammates or somebody struggling, help them out. I'm gonna tell you, Isaiah, the only reason why Isaiah was in my house is because his teammates from Isaiah High School came up to me that I trained and approached me with the situation. And that's the only reason why that kid was in my house. Isaiah now graduated from high school, went to college, and is in Special Ops in the Marines in San Diego. And no better feeling is to see some kid like that not make it, because I wrote a paper in college called Being Statistic. And that was, right now, honestly, where I came from, I'm supposed to be dead, in jail, or doing something that I'm not doing today. And the funny thing is, somebody was like, you always smiling, you always laughing. I'm like, because where I came from, you're happy, I'm in Western suburbs, I live in Wayzata right down the street. I could never imagine myself being where I am today from where I came from. So that's why I tell the athletes and people of all colors, of wherever you came from, don't make excuses, because excuses don't sit very well with me. Because I say, take yourself out of your shoes for 1 second, put yourself in my shoes, and ask me, what would you have done? Because life's not about excuses, it's about, I always tell people, you gotta keep your feet moving. Don't get stuck in mud, don't get caught up in hype and endeavors. I just told my hockey team last night, they just became number one in the state. I go, don't get caught being overzealous or thinking that you can't be knocked out, because somebody around the corner is ready to take your spot. I take that with me every day I go to the gym, because I'm the #1 guy, still as an amateur, and some guys always trying to take me out. And I have a good team of guys around me that support me. I always tell people, surround yourself by successful people. Doc Howie, my brother Stan, who's one of the #1 bodybuilders in the country, my fiance, my kids, I surround my business partners, I surround myself with positive people around me.
Attention staff, will Mr. Boswell and Mr. Moen please report to room 2604? Mr. Boswell and Mr. Moen, please report to room 2604.
Is there anybody in this room? But anyway, so, I always like to share my story with people and tell you, inspire always to be great, because that's what I do. That's what I've done in my career. I just never made excuses for myself. I've always been passionate about myself. My job is to spread my message out to other kids, to tell them, if you work hard enough at something, you can be great at anything, whether it's school, sports, anything in life. It's simple. But you can't let obstacles stand in your way, because if the obstacles would stand in my way, trust me, I would not be here today. I'd probably be locked up in LA County Jail or dead like some of my other friends. So, that's my story. I won't get into it drags out, but if you guys have any questions. Don't be shy. What's my workout regimen? I work out, right now I work out 5 days a week. I work out at LA Fitness. I used to work at LA Fitness, now I work out at Gold's Gym. My regimen workout is Mondays, I usually hit chest, Sundays, legs, Tuesdays, shoulders, Wednesdays, back, Fridays, arms, Saturdays usually off, and then I repeat my cycle. I know you guys have some questions. Tell me, no athlete here has a question. Right now, I am using Optimum Nutrition Protein. That's my new sponsor. Actually, it's a weight gainer that I use, a weight gainer that I use. It's actually awesome. It's really good stuff. So I made my Optimum Nutrition.
Did you find one thing that helped out for your sprint speed? Take it from one level to another?
The funny thing is, all this, la technology stuff, you guys are spoiled these days, by the way. I ran on a dirt track when I was in high school. I think that's what made me faster. I go out today, you guys got these rubber, fancy, pretty tracks and all that stuff. And then when I got to the rubber tracks, I think that's why I broke so many records, because I was used to run on dirt all the time. But when I ran track, me and my buddies had a buddy who was actually the MVP of the Rose Bowl in 1996, Philly off from the University of Oregon, and I had another buddy, Stan. And in the summers, what we would do, you know, because one of my buddies went to the University of Oregon, I went to St. Cloud State before I came here, before I came to Minnesota, and Stan went to Norfolk State, Virginia. What we would do is we would go out to the middle of the day about noon, and we would, you know, do our football drills, and we would go into sand pits. And we would get, you know, it sounds funny as it sounds, we would get one of those little bicycle tires that you put in to fix your tire, and we would harness each other around that. And we would just, you know, run in the sand pits, you know, for half an hour. And if you ever try it, and any athlete who's striving to be faster, try it. Take one of your buddies out, or a couple of your buddies out, go in the sand pits, hook a little, you know, now you guys got the fancy tubes and bands and stuff. Hook it around your buddy and have this drag you across the sand over and over again. Then take that off and then go onto a regular dry surface and see your toes. Funny, it's the first time you run, you can fall on your face because you're used to resistance. But the second time, you're like, man, this is crazy. I'm getting faster and faster and faster. And I'll tell you, work guys, because you know, they said supposedly Deion Sanders is the only fastest person, the person that ran. I ran the second fastest 40. Supposedly Deion ran 4:15. I ran 4:16. I challenged him to a race, but he never accepted it. So. Another question?
One question, Dave? Whether you're in Compton or Wayzata, young man growing up, you're going to have negative peer pressure. How do you cope with that?
You know, I always tell people you have choices. You know, you have choices. You know, and what you do, and you know, I tell people again, you have decisions to make, and where you want to be in life. You know, and I tell people I chose to make some wrong decisions in high school, but eventually you got to find out where you want to be. Now these days, you know, you see kids getting all kinds of trouble. You know, I hear it all the time, MCs and this and other. You know, a prime example. If you guys have a prime example is you guys played Duluth East in hockey this last weekend. Big game, right? The goalie's gone for Duluth East because he made a bad decision in something. And it cost his team, you know, probably playing better. Not saying they would beat you guys, but probably playing better. And those are the decisions that you have to make, you know, and those are the decisions I try to tell athletes and try to tell people in general, you know, be smart about things, because things will cost you. And I've seen it cost a lot of athletes a lot of things. I was just reading in the newspaper last week, you know, it frustrates me these days to see athletes, because you got this kid from Alabama, guaranteed to be a top 10 pick, and you see it every year, every time these days, guaranteed to be a top pick, and I'm sitting there saying, huh. Now, ask yourself this question as an athlete or as a person. Somebody comes up to you and says, keep your nose clean for 4 years, here's a ticket, at the end of that ticket is worth anywhere between $1 million and $40 million. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And most of these guys are making wrong decisions. This kid from Alabama gets caught smoking marijuana, or gets caught with marijuana. Now, in the NFL, you got to understand, it's not about playing football anymore. It's about your character, who you are. They're taking a chance. They're making an investment on their team and in your future with their team. And is it worth that $1 million to $40 million investment anymore? Because your character is being scrutinized now. Is this kid gonna make the right decision? I'll give you a prime example. My roommate when I was in Green Bay, when I played for the Green Bay Packers, was Brett Moss. And anybody, if you guys know him, I'm sure some of the parents probably in here know Brett Moss when he played for the University of Wisconsin. Well, you know, me and Brett Moss was roommates in Green Bay, and like every other day, the NFL was coming by drug testing. And I didn't know really who Brett Moss was or what his past was. And I finally asked him, I'm like, what's going on here? Why these guys constantly come up with drug testing? He said, I made a wrong decision. I decided to get into, I decided to start dealing drugs in college and got caught up selling some stuff called wet. Something where you stick a marijuana stick in some liquid or something, and got caught selling drugs. So the Green Bay Packers says, the only way we're gonna bring you in here now, doesn't get drafted by anybody, he's a free agent, comes in the camp, getting drug tested every day, because in the NFL, once you get tested positive once for drugs, they can drug test you anytime they want. Random drug tests. Brett actually ended up making a team because they just thought it was too big of a risk. So I always tell people, look at the risk factor versus what can happen to you. If it looks like it's not good, it probably isn't good for you, and think about the repercussions. That's peer pressure. What are the repercussions of you doing something that you know you can get in trouble for versus what you have over here? And I've seen it happen, guys, over and over and over again. And I'm not a saint by any stretch of imagination, but I know one thing: to make right decisions so I don't get myself in trouble. Because I've been through that as a youth. And that's the problem of the young athletes today, just making bad decisions. Make good decisions. If you care about what you do, if you love what you do, you want to strive to be better. I'm going to tell you right now, like I said, I didn't have any money. I didn't have any, my grades weren't the best in the entire world, but my athletic endeavors paved my way to where I'm at today. I just took advantage of my athletic ability. My grandmother once said, if they're going to use you for your athletic ability, you dang well better get an education out of it. I have my Bachelor of Science degree in mass communication. I have my master's degree in exercise sports physiology. I just took advantage of it. Because if I can't play football anymore, I don't run track anymore, I bodybuild, and that's great. But nobody can ever take away my brain and my education from me. And I can do something with that. And what I'm doing now is training athletes, about to open up my own gym, and nothing gives me more joy right now than training athletes. Nothing in the whole entire world. To see them succeed. Last year, I had a team who won the state championship based off of this. And I'll leave you guys with this. If you give 110% effort, I'm sure you probably quoted this from your coach, if you give 110% effort, I will never be disappointed as far as when I train my athletes. But you have to have one thing when it comes to that too: passion and mental toughness. And I think that's what got me through my life, because I remember playing the football games and getting blasted. Remember, I said I was only like 150, 45, 50 pounds. Being on the ground, like that hurt, but bouncing back up, getting back to the huddle, and never letting anybody know that they can get inside my mind. Because as soon as I let them know that they can get inside my mind, game over. They win, I lose. That's why I am where I am today. Because mental toughness perseveres over anything. And if you have a passion and care about something, you already won the battle. It's simple.
Keith, thank you very much for...
You guys are going to get my house egged as soon as I put this down.
Take his picture. All right, just a quick announcement. We're going to continue this series through June. So the next one will be the last week in February. So looking forward to seeing you all. Thank you for coming.